All right, what's up, guys?
All right, Coach. More than 2 weeks into it, 2 weeks before the first game, how would you assess the offense to this point?
Getting better every day. Right now, we're working a lot of situational football, getting ready for real football. So it's kind of time to get away from the install, and now it's more about situations. But we're learning, growing and learning every day, so that's been fun.
Looking at the quarterback situation, what have you seen from these guys? Yeah, you guys are 2 weeks out, a little less than 2 weeks out from the game play. What does the quarterback really look like in a quarterback situation?
Yeah, kind of the similar answer. Right now, we're getting an opportunity to work a lot of the situations, whether it's 4-minute offense, 2-minute offense, red zone, so getting a lot of those things in. So each guy gets, we schedule it out so all those guys are getting the reps and opportunities. So that's still ongoing. The great thing about the quarterback position right now with those three guys, we feel really good about all three. Got a little ways to go before we do play that first game. Very soon we're going to start sending our attention to game one versus Jack State, but it's still a blend right now of working on us, and the situations and getting prepared for the season. So we still have a little bit of time, but yeah, we're getting closer.
Would you?
Starts at Marshall and FA, Camp Fancher's walked a lot of experience. How have you seen that benefit him so far during this game?
Cool thing about Cam, not only does he have experience, he's also a quick learner. So that's been fun to be around. He does a really good job of managing the huddle, managing all the operation things. So yeah, that's a major benefit for him. That's one of his strengths, and we lean into that, and he's really been a nice benefit for the quarterback room for those same reasons. So yeah, he's the older guy in the room, so it's good to have him.
What would you say is one of the biggest strides you've seen Taven Jackson make?
Just getting comfortable with the offense. Obviously he was here in the spring, did a good job, and it's been learning every day and did a good job this summer. Obviously the arm talent's there, and he can do some really good things, very good athlete. So and he's getting better every day, just like Cam. And I say Cam's an older guy. These guys all do have some experience and they've played, so that's a major benefit to that room.
Earlier this week, Alex Briggs was saying that with 14 days out, you're going to start prepping for the first opponent. How much are you guys starting to look ahead to that game, or are you still more focused on working on yourself?
Yeah, kind of like what I said earlier, it's a nice blend of both things, making sure that we're hitting all the, we're crossing the T's and dotting the I's in relationship to having all our situations dialed in with our install. But while we're doing that, we're sprinkling in things that we believe are going to be good versus our first opponent. And listen, there's really not a lot of great tape to watch on our first opponent because it's a new defensive coordinator. I mean, heck, it's a whole new staff there. So we're really centering in our focus right now on what we're best at so that when we get into that game, we can execute things versus all the looks that we might get. But with that being said, there's certainly things that we as coaches feel pretty good about in relationship to game one, so we sprinkle those things in. Sometimes it might be something that the kids realize, our players realize that this is going to be stuff that's really part of the early install for the first game, but they also know that these are core plays for us that we can execute versus and should be able to execute versus anything.
On that note, are you going to be evaluating past tape of the other defenses, like say, kind of was at Colorado and Alabama, so looking
Sure.
at that tape and then mixing that in with the individual players that they've brought in?
Yeah, you bring up a great point. When you got a first opponent, and this isn't, we're not different than anyone else in the country in relationship to game one. There's a lot of unknowns. So you certainly got to go back and use some historical data to try and make a best guess of what to expect. That's going to have more to do with when we get the scout team and we start getting those show looks, okay, what looks do we present to our offense? The cool thing is our defense does a really good job of giving us multiple looks. So I think we're getting a lot of the box checks in relationship to, okay, be prepared for this look and have an understanding of this and the other thing. But to your point, man, you got to watch a lot of tape and have a general understanding of where the reoccurring schemes come from on defense. And where we're at right now, I mean, we're still working on us and the situations that we need to be able to master that are just going to show up in regular football. But we're certainly looking at all the things that could show up.
Coach, can you speak on the wide receiver unit and the strides that they've been able to make throughout fall camp?
Yeah, those guys have been making some plays, which is really nice to see. They're getting more comfortable with the scheme. They're getting more reps of the things every single day. And, hey, go figure. When you got firm feet and you know what you're doing exactly because you got the reps, you can go execute and make plays. So that's been really nice to see and developing depth. I think I talked about that last time I was up here talking with you guys. It's super important to develop depth And there's certainly some guys that we feel really comfortable with playing football here. And, obviously we got a long ways to go and we're going to continue to work. But that's been nice to see that group really step up and make some plays in critical situations in practice.
You've heard a lot of the players and coaches talk about get the speed up with this team, and obviously, their coach Ross likes to run a fast
Right.
offense.
Yeah.
What's been the challenge in the beginning of this, and how are players kind of adjusting to the speed that you guys want to play compared to that first game?
Guys are doing a really good job of leaning into it, Heck, man, we're out here practicing in the heat a lot of the time, so that's not an easy thing. And I think that's a big advantage for us as we get the opportunity to practice in the heat and humidity. And that's a really good thing for us because if we make practice as hard as it can be, then the game's going to be easier. But I think the kids, our players, are excited about having that style of offense where it can be multiple tempo and we can go fast at times and know when to slow it down at times too. So they're leaning into it. It's not perfect right now. It is a challenge when you got to practice back-to-back days in the heat, but I think the guys are really learning what the expectation is so we can hold them to that standard, and really more important than that is they can hold each other to the standard of what tempo means. And it's not just getting a snap off fast, that's also playing hard and fast with the echo of the whistle. Coach Frost talks about it all the time. It's about speed and precision. That makes plays go. It doesn't matter what play is called. We can execute the play if we play with speed and precision and have the detail necessary.
Coach, since we last spoke, what sort of strides have you seen out of the tight end room, particularly from Dylan Wade and Kylan Fox, and if you've made a determination on starters there or two tight end systems and that like?
Both guys and the whole tight end room is working really hard, and I feel like I might be on repeat here, but those guys are doing a really good job with the pass game, and we're learning how to be more and more physical every day in the run game, which is super important because if you can be physical in the run game, then all of a sudden, bang, you're going to be open in some of the pass game. But both guys are really putting in the work, and that's the whole tight end room, not exclusive to just those two guys.
Where are you guys kind of right now in terms of camp? School starts on Monday. I know you talked about getting ready for the first opponent. Is there like maybe another scrimmage coming up this weekend, and kind of you'll sit down after that and evaluate depth chart and stuff? Kind of what's the timeline on kind of transitioning from camp to game prep?
Yeah, we take a look at our practice plans after practice every day to see what we need to get to because of where things are at. So it's constantly evolving with that. But like I opened with, it's the situational football stuff that we're really keying in on. And that might mean that we'll do a short scrimmage. And really, the idea of the scrimmage is to make it feel like college football Saturday, whether it's something as silly as running the guys into the locker room so they know what that feels like after pregame before we run out to run some plays, and then we'll script some of the situations as well. You get your 4 minutes, your 2 minutes. We'll put the ball down on the plus 25 so we can get some high red zone work. So our focus is going from install now to the situations. In a situation, a situation counts if we're talking about just coming out of the locker room for the first drive of the game. That's something that is different than what normal practice would be. So, yeah, you name it, we're probably practicing that right now.
Scott mentioned last week that Davey scored to tweak something, it's not available for the scrimmage, and we've seen it for the last two practices. So what's his status going forward?
From my understanding, Coach Frost will cover all the injuries when he gets up here. I don't know if it's tomorrow or the next day. I'm not 100% sure on the schedule there, but yeah, I'm going to stay away from any of the IR stuff.
Is it realistic to say this quarterback battle can go into the first two games of the season?
Yeah, there's really, we're open for everything right now. The cool thing for us is we still have a lot more to dive into in relationship to situational football, and that's really where the quarterback evaluation piece is going. And again, we're open to anything. It's a really good thing when you feel good about three QBs.
What are the challenges of building around, trying to evaluate each of the three quarterbacks, but still trying to build that confidence and let the team get used to their future starting quarterback?
Yeah, probably just like any other position this early in the season. And again, I don't think we're special in relationship to the rest of college football. One of the big things as you get it closer and closer to the first game is to have the rapport with the guys that are going to be out there. But we're not just going to play with 11 guys. On offense, there's going to be a lot of guys playing. That's what it takes to have a good team. It really has to do with depth. So we're a challenge that we face every day, and we attack it, and it's been good.
What have you seen from, you talked about back-to-back days outside in the heat and everything. What have you seen from conditioning from this team so far? They went through a lot, in the offseason to get to this point, but how does it look so far for you guys as you get closer to the season?
Yeah, we talked about the offseason. No matter how much you run and how much you lift, there's nothing to prepare you for practice, let alone practice here in Florida. So that's been really good. I mean, they track all the GPS data and figure out how hard the guys are working and running all that stuff. Great, I think that, what we're finding out is there's a threshold that each person has that they can hit the capacity for each time that we practice. And it seems like that is going up every single day, which is the positive trend that we're looking for. So long-windedly, these guys are getting in better condition every day. Listen, the stuff that they do in the off-season is setting them up for fall camp. And now fall camp is setting us up for the season. So it's been good, and we're on track.
Coach, does anything particularly change when it comes to evaluating the quarterbacks? As you've talked about how you're going from install to situational football. So how does kind of that evaluation of the quarterbacks maybe shift as you make that shift?
I'm not sure if I understand the question. How does our evaluation of each person shift through the situation that comes up? Is that
No,
what you're asking?
essentially, like it's a different phase. You're going from install to the situational football stuff. Does that sort of shift what you look for the quarterbacks, or now it's sort of like, all right, now that we're in installed, everyone's in playing field, and so you got to look at the minutia now.
Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, with the install, there's kind of like a precursor to be able to execute in a situation. And all three quarterbacks that are taking reps have done a nice job of understanding what we're trying to accomplish with said play on first down, right? That's easy. First down, it's pretty simple. We're trying to get 4 more yards to get an efficient play. Okay, so that precursor has set us up for situational football, and the evaluation is now, was that a winning play? And it's pretty objective. Try to get as much gray area as possible.
Earlier this week, we started to hear the players say that they recognize they can't beat themselves. So on that point, what are you seeing from the team from a discipline standpoint, penalties, and as well blocking?
Yeah, I'll say 2 things. One, make the play that you should make, and we talk about that quite a bit. Just make the play. And sometimes it's an easy play, sometimes it's a play that you should make, and then don't beat yourself. And beating yourself is, that's penalties, that's a bad snap, that's lining up wrong. And lucky for us, we really haven't had too many busts. Like, these guys have done a really good job of studying and taking the install and understanding the situation. Where we need to get to now is a little bit closer to College Football Saturday, and we got to clean up the little things. So that's an area that we're working on right now, and that's going to probably be the focus of our attention for the next, 8 practices, 9 practices before we really get rolling. So that's where we're putting the
And what about
attention.
blocking? How do you think they're doing?
Good. I mean, Coach Clark with the offensive line, they get to spend the majority of their time over there when we're doing special teams and doing other drills. Like, the blocking stuff's good, and we're not just exclusive to the offensive line. I think I talked about this maybe a time or 2 ago when I sat in front of you guys, was our whole offense needs to be able to block. The game is basically, the basic fundamentals is blocking and tackling. So whether it's blocking circuits, individual time spent on blocking, and I can definitely see the progress being made. Whether it's just blocking a bubble or it's blocking inside zone, it's looking a lot different than it did when we started in the spring. That's for sure.
Coach, 2 weeks from tonight is the first game. I don't think we're going to talk to you before then. Just what will game day be like for you in terms of the operation? I know you've worked with Coach Frost before. Are you upstairs? Are you kind of the voice in the headset talking to Scott, or what will game day look like, and how much are you looking forward to, new team, new school, new opportunity being offensive coordinator?
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for game 1. I'm trying to be where my feet are at the moment, because I know we still have a lot of work to do, and I'm excited about that. Whatever Coach Frost needs, man, I'm here for him, to support him in every way possible. And yeah, there's going to be some good communication between the 2 of us. We've obviously worked together before, and we got good rapport. So I'm excited to work with him. And there's no better than Coach Frost when it comes to College Football Saturday and getting guys squared away and put in positions to be successful. I'm excited to be a part of that. Thanks, guys.
How's it going? I'm sure it's kind of like the dog days of summer, dog days of camp. You guys are kind of ready to turn the page and get ready for another team. Just look back on the first 2.5 weeks. How have things gone for you guys?
Man, we made a lot of progress, man, from the offensive standpoint and defensive standpoint, man. I think we became more of a team. Like you said, it's the dog days of camp. We grow as a family. We're making a lot of plays on both sides of the ball. So, yeah.
What have you seen from the wide receiver group as a whole? What have you seen that's really stood out to you, that's maybe impressed you about this group?
The biggest thing is we became more of a family. Like I said, in the spring it's hard to become a family very early on. Everybody fighting for positions, but now when you get into camp, we see everybody make plays, everybody cheering for each other. I think the biggest thing, we're really explosive, really fast. Everybody can make the easy plays, but everybody can also make the tough catches as well.
Dwayne, we've been hearing people calling you Speedy lately. Just wanted to ask what the origins of that nickname were. I know a lot of people are fast, but it's
Yeah.
one thing to get a nickname like Speedy.
Yeah, so first year ever playing football, like 7, 8 years old. We had this race in Miami. Had this race with the football team, and I just kept winning. I just wouldn't lose. So, and I was playing running back at the time, and I was just running past everybody. And eventually, the head coach just gave me the name.
How does Coach Becton push you and challenge you?
Man, each and every day, he's on you about just the small details. Like you can make the best catch in the world, but he's gonna coach you from the way you came off the ball to how you attack leverage. Or he's big on the small details and how you look the ball in and everything. So I think he's been on every single receiver like crazy, and he just wants everybody to get better.
Throughout fall camp, we've seen you even do some work with the running backs, do jet sweeps, end arounds. Do you view yourself as also a weapon as a ball carrier?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's probably one of the greatest part of my game, just getting the ball in space, being very versatile, being able to be in the backfield and get handoffs and get around the edge. So yeah.
Are you comfortable being maybe a dual threat this season if the coach wanted you in the backfield?
For sure.
Having spent a few weeks now in this offense in camp and obviously with the spring, how would you describe this offense and what it can be this year?
Very explosive, very versatile. I think we can do a little bit of everything. I think we run the ball very well. I think we great in the pass game, great quick game, screen game. We run a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but I think we run a good amount of nakeds. So yeah, I think we're very versatile.
So much of like kind of the Scott Frost reputation is about the speed at which you
yes.
guys play. Is it an adjustment getting used to that speed? And how do you feel like that this team is kind of getting that down?
It was an adjustment in the beginning, but I mean, getting the reps from the spring to now, we've adjusted a lot better. We made a lot of progress.
You spoke on how family is a big thing for this wide receiver group, but what's your greatest strength physically as a unit?
Fast. We're very fast. I don't think it's one guy you could say isn't fast in our group.
What are you looking for out of yourself from this season? I mean, you have goals going into it, and what would you like to see happen?
Being where my feet is, man, just making the plays that are there to be made. Being versatile, like I said, I can be, and being a leader for not just the receiver room, but the offense.
Dwayne, I believe we saw some kick return practice drills there, right there. You, Jaden, Tris Domercant. Just talk about your strengths as a returner. What have you been learning from the rest of that group?
Oh man, so Coach Pete, man, he's been amazing. He's a great coach, and he's been coaching every returner. Just the small details about return, man. Just how to look the ball all the way in, how he wants our feet to be, and learning from him has been great. I think I became a better returner because of Coach.
Would you consider yourself more of a punt returner, kick returner, a bit of both?
A bit of both, for sure.
2 weeks out from the opener, what are you most confident about in this offense?
I think we're going to go out there and execute. We're not going to be too high, not going to be too low. I think our biggest thing is we're very mellow, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to be where our feet is.
Does that come from coaching? Is that a message that you hear from coaches?
Yes, for sure. They tell us poise a lot. That's Coach Coop's, Coach Frost's biggest thing. Just having poise in each and every situation, whether it's 2 minutes, whether it's 6 minutes left in the game, or whether you just start the game. It can't be too high, it can't be too low.
Dwayne, tell us a little bit about some of your wide receiver teammates. Like, we've heard some of the names that I'm sure are going to be in the primary mix. Who's kind of standing out? I think we're going to talk to Chris Domercant today. I know he's new this summer. Like, what kind of talent is he? What kind of receiver is he?
Oh man, CD's amazing, man. Like, he came in first day just ready to work. Like, he calls me, texts me, and hey, bro, you want to get some catches? Like, yeah, like, come on, what time? 4 o'clock. All right, we there. So CD, he's been great, bro. Like, me and him rotating. He's fast, quick, catch the ball. Like, understands football. I think it's his biggest weapon. Like, he really understands football. For the rest of the group, man, we've taken so many strides in the right direction, man. Just being where our feet is, man, just making plays, being explosive, playing fast, and I think that's, our biggest weapon.
You guys kind of have most of the receivers are guys who transferred in from other places, whether they came from other levels of football. They're trying to prove themselves on the Big 12 stage now.
Yeah.
Do you guys kind of have a chip on your shoulder a little bit to prove that
For
you can
sure.
play amongst the best in college football?
For sure. I mean, we see the media, man. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. Everybody sees it. Everybody's looking to see where we're going to be. And we talk about it all the time amongst ourselves. We just ready to prove everybody that we can play ball too.
Dwayne, you talked about being a multifaceted, weapon in this offense. Has the coaching staff showed you any footage of former UCF players? I mean, in Frost's offense, he had a lot of guys that were able to do different jobs. Have you looked at those kind of maybe video to see it?
I'm just watching all of Coach Frost's older teams. Like, everybody's been doing a little bit of everything, like being out wide and being able to catch an option. And, like, I've seen literally every single play. He shows us all the time.
How have you gelled with your teammates and become a better leader?
How have I become a better leader?
Yeah, have you gelled with your teammates and become a better leader?
For sure. I think I've been becoming a better leader just by understanding everybody's personality. Everybody's different. Some guys are a little bit mellow. Some guys are a little bit energetic. So I think just meeting everybody at their level has that's probably been my biggest improvement as a leader. And on gelling, man, we've worked so hard all together, man. Like, it's pretty easy to gel as a wide receiver group once when you go through adversity together.
What's the challenge of developing chemistry with the quarterbacks?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
What's the challenge in developing chemistry with the quarterbacks?
It hasn't been much of a challenge. We've gotten a lot of extra reps, during the summer. I would say we really built a lot of chemistry with every single quarterback that we have, and we've made a lot of progress with them.
Dwayne, you said you've watched a lot of older film of Scott Frost offenses and teams through the years. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so is there a role maybe have you seen maybe on a former team? Is there maybe a player that you've been compared to? Like, you might have a similar role that this guy had. Has anyone said anything like that to you?
No, not much of a similar role, but I can see what type of role I will have, just being out to practice, going, with the running back sometimes, getting options, getting screens. And
Is there anything that jumps out when you watch that old film? Is like any particular, I don't know if you're focused on the opponent, but the different plays run, is there anything specific that kind of stands out that you really like that you're looking forward to implement yourself?
just being in open space. I think that's Coach Frost's biggest thing. Like, he all his plays, he can get you in space so easily, and obviously, like, that's where you want to be as a receiver and, as a playmaker.
All right. Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Chris, welcome to UCF. I know you're one of the more recent guys that came over here in the summer. Just kind of first of all, talk about that decision process. I know you came from Chattanooga. You get in the portal, you look at different options. What was it about UCF that made you want to come to Orlando?
I feel like the big thing for me is I wanted to be somewhere where I was happy. I feel like having a good mindset, good mental state, being happy is essential to being able to perform at your highest level. And I feel like being here in Florida, first of all, I never was in Florida before. I never came out here until I got out here for my visit. So I feel like it was just a place I wanted to be. I've always wanted to live in Florida for a little bit. So I feel like it was just a good opportunity here.
When you look at this team, and then when you got here, you got Scott Frost and Coach Becton. What maybe, I guess, enticed you to come here with meeting those two?
Yeah, so obviously I did my research on obviously the coaching staff before. Coach Frost had obviously success here previous, and I felt like we could repeat that same success. Obviously, we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work ahead of us, but I felt like Coach Frost and his reputation here before when he was here was definitely enticing for me to come here.
Chris, what does it mean to you to be able to play at P4 level football this year, considering your previous college football experience at this point?
Yes, sir. I feel like it's honestly a dream come true. Coming out of high school, I feel like every kid that plays sports always wants to play at the highest level. I obviously didn't have the chance to do that opportunity right out of high school, but I felt like I kept my head down, I kept working, and obviously God's blessed me with this opportunity, so I just got to take advantage of it.
When we see you play, what are we going to see? What's your game like?
Yeah, obviously I just love to play football. I'm gonna do whatever coach needs me to do. Whatever he needs me, that's what I'm gonna do. And I feel like I'm gonna just be here for my teammates, and we're gonna gel together to put out a good product for you guys.
What do you excel at?
I feel like my football IQ. I know where to be. I know the quarterback wants me to be within the scheme. Obviously, I play fast, and I feel like those are my strengths: my football IQ, my speed.
What's the biggest strides that you've taken since arriving for fall?
Yeah, obviously I had to get into the playbook. Obviously, that's like the biggest hurdle when you come into a new school is learn a new offense. I felt like that's the biggest stride I've taken. Just getting with my teammates, my receivers, the coaching staffs, the quarterbacks, get me on the same pace to where it's like fall camp hits, we're all on the same playing field.
Saw you mixing it with the kick returners during the open portion of practice. How long have you been doing that? And I know last year you maybe didn't at Chattanooga, but you did at Stonehill before that. So is it something you missed as well?
Yeah, I did it at Stonehill. I feel like I said, whatever the coach needs me to do, I'm gonna do it. I would love to be a kick returner, whatever that looks like. So yeah, he had me coming in as a returner. So I feel like I just gotta keep working. Obviously, Coach Pete does a great job. It teaches us the little stuff, just building the football, little stuff like that. Find the open gaps, and I feel like we have a good unit to be able to have some success in that unit.
This wide receiver unit is pretty fresh, especially for UCF fans. I mean, what can fans expect to see from this unit going into the season?
Yeah, so like Speedy said, we're fast. Like from top to bottom, even the younger guys, we got a lot of guys that can fly. So I feel like we just got to get on this, everyone on the same direction. Obviously, we're still all learning. Like you said, it's a new group, so we still got a lot of work ahead of us to do. But I feel like we got a good group of guys as far as personality-wise that could get the job done. So we got a lot of work to do.
Speed and fast is one of the kind of monikers of this UCF offense under Scott Frost. How would you describe this offense, and then how do you kind of, I guess, corral that speed or make sure that speed is being used in the right direction?
Exactly. I would describe the offense as like we like to get lined up fast, put the defense in a bind, obviously have them scrambling and stuff so we can catch them off guard with our speed. And as like I said, the players, us being fast helps us do that, attack up open spaces, get playmakers the ball in their hands in open field. So I feel like that's really what Coach Frost likes to do with this offense. Like he stresses the little details as far as just getting set fast. So it's like when the defense is like getting the calls or whatever, we might be able to catch them off guard sometimes, little stuff like that.
Chris, it seems like this wide receiver group probably has something to prove. A lot of the guys, maybe they haven't played a lot and they want to get playing time. Guys like yourself and DJ Black, they've played, but maybe they played at lower levels.
Yeah.
I mean, just talk about how you guys, want to prove yourselves that you can play, in the Big 12 amongst the best in college football.
Yeah, it's a big chip on our shoulders for sure. Me personally, I don't really look at it like that. I feel like game of football is always the game of football, regardless of what level you play at. So I really just focusing on what we got to do as a unit. I'm not really too focused on our opponents yet. We still got fall camp to finish up, but like you said, we do got a lot to prove. There's not any returning production in our unit right now, but we've all been making plays during this fall camp, so it's exciting, especially the younger guys. Like that's really what I've noticed the difference in as far as levels. The younger guys are really ready to play. I feel like, especially here. So it's just going to be fun to see what we were able to do once the season starts.
It's going to be a lot different type of environments, though. Like, what's Stonehill like? What's a Stonehill home game like? What are some of the places you go? Like, that's going to be a lot different than going to places in the Big 12.
Yeah, really the biggest game I played in was Tennessee when I went out there in Knoxville. But to be honest, to me, it wasn't really much of a difference as far as the crowd's there. But I feel like I've always been a pretty level-headed kid. Just being able to execute my job, being where my feet at. So I feel like it's really no difference as far as that. Obviously, there's going to be better talent we're playing against, but I'm a competitive guy, and we got competitive guys in our group. So I feel like it's not really going to be too much of an adjustment.
You mentioned there's a lot to learn. What are you learning from Coach Becton?
Yeah, Coach Becton, he really stresses the little details. I feel like he's really he holds us to a high standard of play, and I feel like regardless of how well or how poorly we're playing, he always comes in with the same attitude, and he expects a lot from us. And obviously he had a really good career here, so he likes to say he likes playing through us. He likes seeing us make plays, and that gives him joy and stuff. So we just all really want to excel, just for him.
And you mentioned little things. How do you evaluate yourself as a blocker?
Yeah, I feel like right now, that's an area I'm really taking strides in. In the past, I wasn't really straining as much as I should have been, on some plays. But I feel like right now in this offense, Coach Frost really harps on being able to drive through blocks, finish blocks downfield. So I feel like that's really an area I've taken strides in, and that's really an area I've wanted to improve in coming into camp.
Chris, we just spoke with Dwayne Thomas, who's also a part of that return group, along with you and Jaden Nixon. Just what's it like working with these returners, and what could we see out of that group for this season?
Yes, sir. I feel like we're all really explosive. We all run like a little differently. Those guys are a little bit more twisted up than I am. Probably I'm more of a long strider, long runner. But I feel like we all bring a little bit something different to the table. But I feel like we could all get the job done at the same time. We all got speed, and I feel like it's going to be fun to see that unit run.
Do you consider yourself more of a kick returner, a punt returner, a bit of both?
A bit of both. Yeah, a bit of both.
You mentioned that you're willing to do anything for Coach Ross, for the team. Was there a role or a spot in the formation where you started to feel a bit more comfortable or feel a bit more at home so far?
Not really, to be honest. They had me learning all the positions. That's coming in. That's where they had me at, so I could fill in as needed. So I feel like I really just want to be able to help the team wherever they see fit, whether it's in the slot or outside, in the backfield. If they need me to, whatever they need me to do, I'm gonna do it.
You mentioned wanting to fit in anywhere. Obviously, arrived for fall camp. Do you feel like you've done enough in this short amount of time to earn solid playing time come game day?
I feel like I've worked hard. I've made plays where it needed. Obviously, I got some stuff I need to work on, but that's not for me to decide. It's up to the coaching staff. But I feel like as a group, to be honest, we got a lot of players. So whoever plays in that role, I'm gonna be there to support them wherever it may be. Appreciate y'all.